So as I mentioned in an earlier video, for women that have been trafficked, for men that have been trafficked, for children who are assaulted and just know that it doesn't feel right, I need you to do something for yourselves. You can Google the form UCC1. In that form, it will ask, what is your name? Are you a creditor? Are you the debtor? Blah, blah, blah. You are going to write, I am the creditor and I am the living person. I am not surety for the corporation or for the corporate fiction, Under UCC 1-103, common law remains in full force and effect. And under UCC 9-102, I am the secure party and the name, your name, is the debtor. The name on your birth certificate that is in bold letters, it's what you're going to put there for the name. I release all debts to the debtor. So basically what you're saying is anybody that has done identity theft on your name, on your birth certificate name, all of that debt that was placed onto you is going to be placed onto that corporate fiction name that they created for you on your birth certificate. That is what this means. When you do the UCC1 form, basically you are telling the government that you are reclaiming your person, you are reclaiming that business name as an individual, separate from being bought as a business, separate from being used as a commodity. And you are saying that you are the physical person that has sovereignty and you are separate from that entity. And then when you say that you are putting all the debts onto that company name, if you have identity theft, fraud in your name, people have taken mortgages, auto loans, taken out business loans, whatever, personal loans, which is what has happened to me. You are saying take all that debt off of me as the individual, living person, and place it onto the corporate because that is not mine. It is not mine to have. I did not do it. Put it back onto the corporate. And you say you are the creditor. I am the original. I have all of this wealth that all of this was put on. So the debt goes off of me because I did not make it. It is on the corporation. It is not on me as the individual. Hopefully that makes sense. I know I said it several times. Basically, you're taking the blame off of yourself. All that liability for having for having debt on your credit, for having fraud, for having mortgages out in your name, credit cards out in your name, EBT, Social Security taken out in your name, all of that debt that people have put on your name for identity theft and fraud is going to be taken off and put on the corporate name that the government has given you on your birth certificate. And so you will be reinstated. All of that debt will be taken off and you will be reinstated as a separate entity from that. And that is exactly what you want, so that you are not looked at as a corporation that can have their body sold and trafficked, that can have their mind experimented on, these are instances that I'm talking about that are related to going through. So if you want credibility, I am the living proof of it. You want to make sure that they know that you're a living person. Otherwise, the government will not treat you as such. And this is very important because all humans have the capacity of living a very good and luxurious, wealthy life in a sense. And I use it in a sense because the government has been using us as commodities to take away our livelihood. We're a capitalist country. So what better way to make money than to make money off of its own people for experimentation purposes? It's not just for war. It's for control. All those conspiracy theories that we think of, they're not really conspiracy theories. They're fact. They're just suppressed and mocked in the media because the media is what the government and private companies who have an agenda control. So the media puts out all this propaganda in the advertisements, on TV, in movies, in shows, commercials, Um, you know, even stuff we show our kids, and they show this as subliminal messaging to make us think that this is okay and this is normal when it's not. They're programming us. They have been doing this since we've done US patents for experimentation on mind control since the 1970s, actually 1950s. 19 I believe 1959 was the very first US patent, and it was bought by one of the US patents by Italy. The United States bought the patent from Italy because Italy actually was the first country that had an unidentified flying object with alien technology. So the United States government bought that and started using this technology and experimenting on people. Now, initially, it was logical experimentation. Oh, let's use it on prisoners that are probably on death row. But how many prisoners nowadays do we really have on death row? Because the amount of crime has really gone down. So where is this crime really coming from? You know, why is it a crime for somebody to smoke weed? That's their choice if they want to damage their body. I understand if it's a crime, if you're driving and you hit somebody, now that's different. But if you're deciding to put something in your body, as long as you are not partaking in the activities that are dangerous, that's different. You know, it's like saying, oh, I can't eat meat outside because if I drive home while I have meat in my stomach, oh, that's against the law. You see how that doesn't make sense? They have created these extremities in criminal activity so that they can find new ways to use humans because of our birth certificate, use humans for commodities for experimentation. Look at the women that are RAP'd in prisons. Who can they complain to? Who can they report this to? And then because when you're dealing with the prison system, the judicial system, the board of supervisors, and the legal system, and inevitably dealing with paralegals and lawyers, they're all in cahoots with each other. No lawyer wants to go against a cop. That cop is going to harass that lawyer every step of the way. Well, we're going to look for permits with code enforcement to make sure your lawyer's office is right. We're going to do you see what I'm saying? So there's these small little intricate steps that make certain people of authority in cahoots with each other so that they don't have problems. So the code of honor is destroyed and disrupted because of it. Fun fact. And then what happens when we have the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigations partaking in it? Like November 30th when he RAP'd me at Newark International Airport with his SWAT team. Why should you even have authority to touch me? If I see you in public, I don't mind going to jail for a little bit to punch you in the face because you have no right to touch me. I am not a company. I am not a corporation. You did not buy me. I don't see any stock. There's no stock that says I didn't put any stock numbers up. So who are you to touch me? You do not have that right. And so now that I've read out loud, and I do have people looking into, because once you say your sovereignty and non-consent form, you have witnesses, whoever sees that video. So if anything happens to you, you better let the world know, especially if you've already let the world know about that non-consent form that you've visually and verbally expressed already, especially if you do it online, which is what I've done because I can't seem to get the authorities to listen when I just go to the actual precincts. And New York Police Department isn't the first precinct. Riverside is the first precinct that I knew what was going on with me. Riverside Highway Patrol in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, Apple Valley Highway Patrol in Apple Valley, San Bernardino, Victorville, Chandler Police, Arizona, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Indio, all Riverside County, all police in all Riverside County. And then when I moved to Arizona, Chandler Police, Phoenix Police. Phoenix had one of my exes had a wire on him so that he could make it look like I was mentally unstable and then get another FISA warrant so I would continue to be illegally surveillanced. I have not had any privacy. If I go to a gym and take a shower, somebody wants to record me, take a picture, I am looked at as a lab rat, as a zoo animal. I'm not looked at as a person. No matter how intelligent I am, no matter how well spoken I am, no matter how loyal to a man I am, or no matter how honorable, like I don't sleep around. I don't flirt with people. I keep to myself. And it's like no matter what I do, I am assaulted verbally, physically, sexually. You know, it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. I am now infamous because I have been RAPE'd so many times. There's over 5,000 videos now that I know of. I think there's 4,912 at the time of 2022, after my mother died. And that was actually before I met my ex. I didn't know how long he was actually a participant in this. And then I chose him. How sad, but of course these people were placed into my path. There was no normal person around me. Everything was street theater. I'm not the only person that goes through this. If you think that you're being followed, watched, if you think you have weird break-ins or people are leaving at the same time you leave your house, or people, you see the same faces at the grocery store, at work, at the club, at, wherever you're going, when you visit a friend, all of a sudden they're friends with somebody or they're whispering. If you see this kind of weird behavior, you might want to look into making that form, that UCC1 form, and then looking into your name and seeing if you have identity theft. I would definitely do that. There's other steps, but these were the ones in particular that I wanted to address. So God bless everybody. I hope that this helps, especially targeted individuals like myself, because the first thing we need to realize is that we have been treated as a business. We have been treated as a commodity that we can be sold and traded, and we need to stop it. Definitely. So that is that. God bless. I hope everybody takes care of themselves, my light workers. I definitely pray for your protection and for your constant strength and endurance in fighting the good fight with me. And I'm very thankful for you. And God bless you, and take care. And for those that are idiots, I really do pray for your insight. I hope you get enlightenment. I hope you really do realize that we're living in the Matrix, all those movies, about like the books, 1984, the Matrix, Interception, whatever. Those are made because they're pretty much, the shadow government is laughing in your face because you think they're just amazing movies, but they're reality. And you've been programmed to think that it's not. And that's the hardest part, is realizing that it's real. Like, it's really real. Even I still have a hard time believing it, but it's real. So it's time for us to wake up. If you really want to have your own sense of freedom from the government, to know that they cannot use you or your family or your finances when you get older, or anything, they can't use anything about you. This is the beginning steps. So you need to open your mind. So I hope those that are confused do that. And the ones that aren't confused and know exactly what you're doing, intentionally hurting and harming people, you will get your karma. God exists. Karma exists. Reincarnation exists. Whether you want to deny it or not, you're going to be back here anyway. It doesn't matter to me. But what you need to understand is you will get what's coming to you. Because God will not allow this anymore. And you have been forsaken. And whether you believe in God or not, I don't care. All I know is you will be seeing a lot of misfortune. And you only have yourselves to blame. So I pray God has some mercy. I really don't want mercy for you, but in respect for God, I do pray that you have some mercy on your soul. But to the rest, God bless you. Take care. And, take care of your community. because I'm not the only person going through this. I'm not the only person that's being singled out and isolated. So take care of each other. That's all.